Welcome to the TheIMpossiblePodcast, episode 5, with me, Anna Esen. I was just reading a book about the different emotions and how when we are able to name more precisely the emotions that we're experiencing, that is also more probable that we can get the support we're looking for, or that we can identify the origin of these emotions. And I was reading the part around anxiety. And the interesting part was that in this section, they were talking also about fears and talking about creating a list of what people fear the most. And in every research they came across around fear, there is always one very particular point, and that is social rejection. Because accordingly to this book and these researches is that the place where social rejection is allocated in our brain, it's the same place where we feel physical pain. And then the conclusion of this chapter around anxiety and fear was about, instead of trying to neglect our fear, to neglect our anxiety, to reject them, is actually to put them on a chair and have an honest conversation to understand why we are feeling anxious or why we are feeling fears in a situation where it's more around, it's not like you don't have the direct threat of like I don't know, a panther or a leopard staying in front of you about to jump on you, where fear to raise a fear is very natural, and something that will keep us safe. But it's more around different experiences that we have, and also very often through thoughts that we have in our brain. And I was thinking about my current situation and where I might feel anxiety or kind of like not sure um, whether to do it or not. And definitely what came across in my mind was actually that what I'm currently doing is the recording of this podcast, or actually sharing my viewpoints, my experiences, my thoughts. And when I ask my anxiety why it is coming up in this area of like the area of being seen, uh, using my voice for expressing my personal perception, viewpoints, and stories. And what came up immediately was exactly this social rejection, the fear of social rejection. And then I keep on exploring, and I was thinking, okay, I understand why the fear of social rejection is coming, because when you look in all the social media channels, no matter what kind of perception, opinion, or even personal experience you share, you'll always find people understanding and supporting this viewpoint. You will always find a people who are absolutely neutral about this viewpoint, and you'll always find a people who are disbelieving, who are going even to the direction of threatening you, accusing you, using words that normally if you stay in front of them, most probably they will never do it. But because of the usage of or the feeling when you're on social media interacting, it gives you more kind of like anonymity, or a way of like, oh, okay, I'm so far away, so I don't really connect with this person, so I can call them all kind of names. I can understand why this fear arises. And also I can understand that when the fear of social rejection is allocated on the same place of a physical pain, that it feels the same when somebody puts words that can trigger your emotions, like someone is taking a knife and stabbing it in your heart. But most of the time, the people who are not aware, they don't understand that using their words are actually like taking a knife and stabbing it, and it's like physical pain. And most of the cases when you ask these people, I assume that 99.99% of these people will never take a knife and put it into the heart of somebody. But when they understand, when they are able to understand that what they are accusing with their words is exactly the same, but then we can discuss on this topic, we can philosophy for hours and hours on the topic, but yet it comes back to me and to my self-reflection and my self-responsibility, because I know that me as a person or as a soul embodying these human experiences, as named currently Anna Esen and previously Anna Dimitrova Mitkova, whatever, you can, what name, you can put the name what you wanted. But I know that it's my own responsibility how to react or not react, or how to respond and not respond to this. And what came immediately in my mind was, okay, if I understand that when getting a social rejection is almost the same, or it's like accusing the same pain, creating the same pain as a physical pain, but then to understand, okay, would this social rejection kills me, right? Is it possible to sit in the pain, in my heart pain, and yet stay alive, and yet remember and remind myself who I am, and that I'm not a reflection of the emotion, of the life experiences, of the journey, of the trauma of all the people interacting with me. So they can use me as their own reflection. So you can use me as your own reflection. I can be your mirror, and you can project what you wanted. But I'm the one to decide whether I take on this projection, on this reflection or not, right? And I don't say that it will be easy, and I don't say that I won't have an emotional challenges when getting this rejection, right? But yet, it's in my responsibility and my power how to cope with it. And it's not in your responsibility how to treat me. Because your responsibility is your responsibility, and I can give you an idea. I can share with you my own viewpoints and how I shifted from being very judgmental, because that is the environment how I grew up. So I didn't know any other way of besides like really judging a lot of people, till coming to a moment of self-reflection, self-realization, asking myself what I'm doing it, and now being on the path. And I'm far beyond being like completely judgmental, right? Free, but I'm on the path to remind myself over and over again in every moment, okay, inhale, exhale, allow the people to be, or to be to be the one that they want to express, and it's their own path and it's not my path, right? So long story short, what I wanted to share you with this episode is that very often we don't perceive our dreams, our our heart mission. We don't allow ourselves to raise our voice and to share our own story, our own perception, because we fear the pain. And it's actually like the physical pain, right? Nobody wants to be stabbed with a knife in the heart. But I can tell you, not letting go of this fear, but acknowledging the fear and doing it, even the fear is there. It's something that will help you take self-responsibility, to take the self-responsibility back, to take you back also the understanding that you are the only person who can allow yourself to feel something or not feel something. So nobody can makes you feel something. Nobody can makes me feel something. It's only me. And if I feel it, that means that I still hold something within myself that needs to be revealed, that needs to be put on the surface so I can observe it, I can accept it, I can integrate it, and I can become more and more whole through all this reflection and all these experiences. Of course, do we have a responsibility to choose more graceful and compassionate words when communicating an idea, a perception, a viewpoint? For sure. But are we responsible for the reaction of others to what we're sharing? No, we're not. Because you can choose the most graceful, the most beautiful, the most compassionate words that exists, like a poet, like a Rumi, right? Putting like everything in such a beautiful way. And yet, these words can mean to someone like thousands of knives stuck in his heart or her heart. So please allow yourself to sit with your emotions, with the fears, anxiety, overwhelming. And overwhelming is a little challenging. First, you need to calm down before you sit and see what these emotions are trying to tell you, why are they raising, and then acknowledge them, welcome them back. Don't neglect them. And yet, make a choice that is coming from your most evolved version, from the most evolved version that you are able to tap in this very moment. Because we are always, as long as we have this human experience, we are always evolving, remembering who we are, right? So maybe there will be episodes that will laugh what I share with you. Maybe there will be an episodes that will hate or that will triggers you. I will welcome you to do something that I learn about or that I use for myself. And yet I can just give you this invitation. What you do with it is your own responsibility. I can invite you then when something triggers you, when something feels off, to pause, to inhale and exhale, even if needed 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then to ask yourself, what emotion am I feeling? Why I'm feeling this emotion? What has this information that I just got has to do with me? What I'm still holding within myself, right? And yet it doesn't mean that if in your perception, in your value, a person is doing something wrong, that you cannot call up the shit of the person. If you believe that it's worth for your own growth and expansion. But I always first start with reflecting within myself, with understanding why I'm encountering this situation, why I'm getting this information, what it has to do with my own story, with myself, where I recognize still parts of myself, or from my ancestors, right? Sometimes it's not just our own life story here now in this life. And before you react, center yourself, and then you can still make a response. But making a response from a more centered and reflected version of yourself will make you actually more proud of yourself, will actually help you show how powerful being you are and how you can more and more get your power back and integrate this power. I hope this episode makes some sense. I hope this episode remind you of something, or maybe encourage you to step in more evolved version of yourself, of a version of yourself that you know is already vibrating and willing to step outside and to express your own viewpoint, because your viewpoint is unique. The way my viewpoint is unique. And unique doesn't mean that we don't use information or experiences also from others in our own storytelling or expression or perception, but it means that our life story is unique. It means that the way how we perceive things and information is unique, and the way how we connect the dots is unique. So that means when you allow yourself to express yourself in your very unique version, there'll be people who'll be very grateful to hear this viewpoint, because the people you're looking for to serve are looking for to be served by you or to get your viewpoint. So you add another dot in their brain map, another dot on their personal journey to remembering their own full wholeness and uniqueness. I love you. I see you. Your Anna. Bye-bye.